If you don't mind, Megan, because Teresa's new to the process, would you be the first person to go ahead and lead us through what you saw and what you heard Brittany and the students doing today that you felt was worth mentioning?
Well, I saw her doing direct questioning and open-ended questioning.
Mm-hmm.
She was making connections to stuff they had learned in the past in previous lessons. The students were taking guided notes of some kind, and she had, I think maybe she had done, I'm not sure because I didn't get there for the very beginning, but she might have done some as a model, and then they were kind of in the we do part, and then we got to see them working a little bit independently at the end with those.
My guess on that is right, that she did
Yeah.
a I do,
She
and
probably
then
had
we
done
came
the
in on
I
the
do
we
part.
do. Yeah, good.
She was praising students. She seems very energetic. It's not the most exciting material, but she was maintaining a certain enthusiasm about it.
Yeah.
The students were counting syllables. They were identifying singular and plural. They were writing sentences, either copied or creating, and then they were reading some aloud. She did have objectives posted kind of around all the different modes of communication. She had writing, speaking, reading, and she had mentioned spelling on there too. So they were going over some spelling as well.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Wow, you captured a lot.
that's what I said.
Good for you, but isn't that fascinating that she was doing, and they were doing, that much in 15 minutes?
Yeah, it was pretty fast-paced.
Yes, and that's the nature of the program.
Mhm.
We're trying to look at it as an acceleration instead of remediation, which kind of comes with it, the notion of let's slow down. Nobody's slowing down. It's really clicking right along, and they were with her.
Yeah.
I didn't
yes,
see
they were.
anybody trying not to be, for sure. That's those procedures that she has in place.
She actually had one young lady that was sitting in front of me that had closed her books up, and I think she was anticipating the end of class. And she came over to, I'd love to see what you have written. Can you pull that back out? The student immediately re-engaged. She drew right back in there.
Good.
I also noticed that there was a lot of the student handwriting up on the walls on different pieces of assignments that they had done, right along with famous authors, hung right next to it. It's sort of empowering, I thought. Maybe to
It's
the
a wonderful
students.
thing to notice. I didn't even pay any attention to that, but you're right. Having a student's writing right in the same spotlight, if you will, of a famous author really ups the ante on who they think themselves to be. Yeah, good. What else did you see, Teresa?
I noticed she called on several of the students over and over, and as the questioning continued, they became much more secure in what they were replying to her as. She was also very good at walking in and out of the rows of the students and
Yes,
just
she was.
touching them and chatting with them along the way, keeping them focused.
You know, because I've been in that room a lot, I know that those two boys that were kind of over on our side of things that she asked several times, at the beginning of the year, they would not have volunteered anything, and would have just shriveled up if they had been called on, because their acquisition of language is just not what it needs to be to have confidence in front of all their peers. And look at them now, that not only are they willing to volunteer an answer, but they're right. You know, they're really engaged, even without that initial language, to equip them to do a better job with that.
I also noticed with her switching from one subject area to the other within her classroom was very, very smooth. She transitioned right into objectives, and the use of her whiteboard was very impressive. She was totally 100% prepared to teach the lesson.
It's fascinating that she has so many of those procedures in place and that finesse as a first-year teacher. You know, when you think that she's only been in the saddle since September, it's pretty astounding, for sure.